and I study the minds of great athletes. And one thing I've noticed again and again, and they talk about themselves in this way. So this is not me calling, great athletes crazy. They call themselves that, or like, I'm addicted. Like I have an addictive personality. Like that is part of my formula. But they have this two-sided nature where it's like, it's almost two opposite qualities that you wouldn't think could coexist in the same people. Like they've got a screw loose in the sense, not that they're, diagnosed with a mental illness, but that they're unbalanced in some way. And that's where like they don't want to win, they need to win. And if you look at the examples, like where does that come from? It runs really deep in their psychology. Like, how sometimes it's like, sort of hard, genetic hardwiring. Often it's traumatic early life experience, where they just like, they are going to outwork you. They're going to outsuffer you because they need to, because they can't help it. And so they're a little bit psycho, but at the same time, they have their shit together. And, the proper psychological term for it is self-regulation. They're masters at self-regulating, not in every context. Like self-regulation is just how we control our thoughts, feelings, and actions in pursuit of goals. So when are we not doing that? Right. But they might not be the best at self-regulating in like romantic relationships, but in the sporting context, they just have an incredible ability to, think, feel, and do helpful things in pursuit of winning and to avoid doing harmful things. So it's just fascinating to me because I've bounced this theory off of champion athletes and they're like, yeah, you are describing me. And for this one, I actually did, like I said, I'm not a scientist, but I teamed up with a couple real scientists to conduct. This is the first actual study I've ever been involved in. We took a bunch of elite runners and put them through a standardized personality profile to try and figure out like which personality traits map to these screw loose and shit together qualities. So that was a lot of fun.
Did you have any of the data back yet that you're allowed to speak about? Is there any real commonalities between the athlete personality types and success in the world of elite sport?
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely. It varies a little bit by sport. Like, so it's like, champions in individual sports are not quite the same as champions in team sports, which makes sense, right? Women tend to be a little bit different from men. And some of the characteristics, but there are some that you see again and again and again in across the spectrum. And so the shit together side maps to one of the big five personality traits, conscientiousness. So that is one you see them scoring very, very high for conscientiousness. Often they score very high for the trait of prudence. So that, again, you can see like that. Okay. That's sort of a shit together quality. Like prudence is just like knowing when to quit. Like, honestly, I told you about, my experience with the professional runners in Flagstaff, Arizona. So it's like 13 real elite runners that I was surrounded by for 13 weeks. I never saw so many athletes bail out of workouts. Like they quit way more often than recreational runners do. Yeah. Why? Prudence. They're like, I have nothing to prove. It's dumb for me to finish this workout. Their ego wasn't going to take a hit. They were just smart. So those are the sum on the screw loose, no shit together side. On the screw loose side, some of the personality traits, the big ones, and these are almost universal. Competitiveness, but I mean, like, but it makes sense, right? Because like past a certain point, competitiveness starts to look a little crazy. You know what I mean? Like when people are just like they gotta win everything all the time, and you look at the stories of truly great, not just elite, but great athletes.
Yeah. Prefontaine back there, great example.
Yeah, exactly. So that like ultra competitive, and then boldness is another. It's it's just like some of these terms like we don't use in common language, but they're well known to personality psychologists. So boldness is just like it's Tiger Woods saying, "What the hell are you talking about? Top 10? Like I'm gonna win." It's like Tiger, there's only 8 holes left and you're 19th. It's like that's boldness. It's just like you look at them like you're nuts.
Yeah.
And then they go out and do it.